The war god took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it.
So, with that being said, let's quickly talk about kind of the topic, right? So we talked about mortgage loans and just, a couple nuggets there. But what are other things, like when I ask that question, what comes to mind? What are certain things that we can do financially, but we probably shouldn't? I mean, just thinking about the culture that we live in and kind of what is so common that it's almost like, wait, why is that common? Anything come to mind?
I mean, a lot comes to mind, but it's two things I think with where we are today and the climate, and with student loans starting back up here. What else? Inflation is, still crazy. People are running into two things right now, and I made a video on one of them, credit cards. I think in August we hit $1 trillion. $1 trillion, talked about in the video. $1 trillion debt, American debt, and it was $10,000 per household. And so what this just shows is people are, and it's easy to use a credit card. You see a limit and it's a buy now, pay later. I'm not gonna say scheme, but program. But we buy now, but we don't do the pay later until we get the balance, or we get a statement and it's like, oh wow, I'm 5,000. Wow, you don't realize it's so easy to swipe, and you're probably not checking, and you're just like, oh yeah, just swipe until either one you swipe and you get rejected and you're like, well, it's maxed out, or you get that statement and it's like, I'm in a hole. So just like I talked about in the video, and we do encourage to use a credit card, but to do it responsibly, because it is a powerful tool that can help you. But like I said in the video too, it is also that same power can destroy you and put you in a bad spot. And I'm sure many can attest to, at some point you was in a credit card hole and had to do some things either to get out, or maybe some things got written off or delinquent or whatever. So I mean, and with the numbers, I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people are, like it shows, people are running to it, and a lot of people have this issue. So like I said, just be careful and don't run to that. Just learn how to use it and use it responsibly. And the second thing, real quick, is people tend to take out their 401k early. Now, it is very, very rare that you would have a plan to take out your 401k early. And I won't talk about it now, but people see the balance, or they see the amount, or really pressure, see the need to, or behind on something, they like, I need that money, or I need money, and hey, let me go check my 401k. You looking there, you got 40, 50, thousands of dollars in there, and so you're like, I need help, I'm desperate, that money's there doing nothing, let me go get it. But what you don't realize is you get hit with a penalty, and you have to pay the taxes on that, because at that time you're not, it's not taxed while it's with your company, or going into that 401k. But when you take it out, now you have to pay the taxes on it. And what people don't realize that they just get it and they think, I can go spend this money. But when tax season come around, because that's reported to the IRS, so it ain't even something you can the IRS knows that you took their money out, and they like, people are surprised when tax season come, and they like, you owe us $6,000.
For what?
But what'll happen is you gonna took that money out and you gonna spend it, so now you don't have none of the money, and now the IRS is saying, I need my money. And now you got to go to September, or you got to get on a plan for the next 4 or 5 years to government gonna get their money one way or another, whether it take you X amount of years to do it. But again, 401k, there are other things you can do without having to abuse a credit card or again dip into your 401k. So I think those are the two things right now that people are running to. And it's not helping. It's putting a band-aid where you really need to do some surgery and get it properly healed. So those are two things. It's a lot more, but those are two things. And again, with current day, with everything going on, those are the two things I think people are running to.
So instead of kind of piggybacking off of you, I'm gonna just cover some of the other things to maybe get a broader, broader topics. But what comes to mind for me, and I think it has always been an issue with me, and even till this day with our finances, I still pull for this, I think, in times that you don't think are necessary. And that's really just putting things on payment plans. It is so normal for everyone and their mother and their grandmother to have like a device charge on their cell phones, right? For the 2 years. I have an Apple Watch. I don't have an Apple Watch, but I'm saying everyone has an Apple Watch or whatever other kind of watch. But they're also paying installments on that. Oh, and by the way, the furniture, right, that I have in my house, that's also being paid monthly. And I'm going to send you a gift, but I actually put it on an affirm plan, right? And so all of these payments, so think about it, right? When you think about the phone companies, they don't charge you interest or anything like that, right? When you put your phone on a monthly plan. But what it means is if you think about leaving us, here's this big balance you still owe us, by the way, right? So it's a way to keep that customer. And in 2 years, when the new iPhone comes out, you're going to get that and then owe on that, right? So it is a cycle. And I think we truly, truly live in a day where it's normal. Like, it is normal. Everyone has a device charge. Everyone is paying monthly on everything. And it's like, guys, why? Why are we enslaving ourselves to these people? If you don't have, I don't know how much these phones cost, but if you don't have $1,200, right, to pay for the phone, keep your own phone. And obviously, right, circumstances can differ, and this may not fit for every single situation, right? But I'm talking about, like, we live like this day to day where it's normal. Yeah, why wouldn't I have a device charge? Well, maybe because you paid for your phone up front, right? And I get it. Like, okay, I already know what you're about to say. I know when it comes, I don't, okay. I was gonna say, I'll just say this. When it comes to our home, I think the reason sometimes when you're talking about like having a certain amount of cash on hand, right? Like literally I can go and withdraw $50,000 if I needed it, right? I understand like the times that you've kind of told me like, why would I go give these people, $3,000 for a laptop if I have it right here and I can just slowly, just in case, whatever, right? So I get that, but I don't feel that is, one, I think getting to a point where none of that even matters. But I think two, the way of the world is, oh, get it today. Actually, I used to work at a phone company, right? Back in college. So it was, you walk in, oh, I want to upgrade to the newest such and such. Okay, all you owe today are the taxes, $38.72. The rest will be on your bill, right? And oh, by the way, we'll give you 2 years to pay it off, right? And so it is truly, I know we say cycles a lot, but it is truly a vicious cycle of always owing someone something, right? But what happens if you just put that effort on the front end? If you cannot afford an Apple Watch, you will be okay without that Apple Watch. Or here's the thing, 6 months, save up for it. Right? And now you don't owe anything. If you lose your job, it doesn't matter because you own the Apple Watch, right? So it's just, those are the things that's like, yeah, we can, but like, we really shouldn't, right? Everyone's norm, like, especially as Christians, we're called to be, we talked about, being separate, being called, being chosen, all of those things that feel good. But again, like, it requires work. It requires more work, and we don't have to live like the world tells us we have to live in, like these cycles, you know? What were you going to say?
You kind of hit on it, that the reason it's more of a norm now because the retailers are doing it. And they being strategic, and just like credit cards, credit card companies take advantage of those that lack discipline. And the same thing, the other retailers are taking a note from the credit card company, like, hey, this buy now, pay later method. Because if you can't just go to somebody and say, give me $2,000 for this phone. Most people don't have it. But if I come with if you only give me $25 a month, now that person say, oh, I can do that. But like you said, on the back end, I got you locked for 2 years. And like, if you leave early, I still got you locked. And if you don't pay, we're gonna interest, and we still got you locked. Like you're gonna, you like you said, you're in a cycle, and all the retailers now have taken a model from the credit cards, and just give me $10 now on this $10,000 item for the next 10 years, and it's designed. It's designed that way, and it's taking advantage of people's lack of discipline, and you have to be aware, and you just take note, and just really get upset and be like, I don't want to be part of your, I don't want to be tied to you for the next 2 years. And like you said, go on the front end. Now, mathematically, in a different setting or podcast, we could talk about, I look at it more from a math standpoint, and we really get into it, it's more things you could do with that money at that time, especially if it's not drawing interest. But that's a give and take, and that's getting nickels and pennies. But for the principle of it, if you can't pay it on the front end to avoid a slippery slope or avoid you being bound to a retailer or whatever, then but for the nickels and pennies,
it's I was gonna say, like, I got kind of passionate just a second ago because they feed off of the lack of self-control. Why wouldn't I have the newest iPhone? Everyone else does. Why wouldn't I have some sort of smartwatch? Everyone else does. Why wouldn't you, right? And so it's just, no, but this is what we're doing, right? Like, this is what everyone is doing. And because it wouldn't make sense for me not to be involved in that, or not to be a part of that, or not, I can pay $25, 25 here, 25 there, 25 over there, right? And then you look and it's like, yo, you got $600 a month on stuff that literally is depreciating in value as we speak, because the moment you walk out with it, it's going down in value. So you're going to take these next 2 years to pay off something that can never give you anything in return.
I was just going to add, they're getting even slicker with it because cars. Years ago, the max loan you could get was like 5 years. Now, they're increasing the amount of the car, but then to get that payment down to the consumers where they feel comfortable, get you down to that $300-400, but you don't realize you just signed a 9-year a 9-year loan. So it's like they got smart too. Like, okay, somebody's not gonna come in here and buy a $80,000 car unless we tell them you only got to pay $200 a month.
Even if it's half of your life that you're paying on.
You only got to pay $200 a month for 10 years. What? But we don't, especially young, because I did it. I my first car I did, I think it was like 6 years or 7 years, and you don't think about how many years it is. You just like, I want a car. So 7 years, 10 years, whatever. But now when you sit back and think about it, it's like 7 years. That's a long time. 10 years, like that's, and then not only that, but the amount, $80,000 for 10 years.
I'm stressed. Yeah. All right, guys, we've spent way too much time on this, so we want to quickly talk about payday loans. I don't know what other names they go under. Same day loans, fast loans, every other kind of loan.
They're all bad.
They're all bad.
Whatever
They're all
you name
bad.
it.
And I want to plead with you today to please do not fall for these traps. Do not do it. If you find yourself in such a situation that you know, you even feel that you need to consider something like that, go to our website, right? Like, I mean, not even go to somebody's website or somebody that you know that can help you, because there's a better way. There's a better way. And so I'm going to specifically talk about a spot loan. Hopefully they don't come and sue me, but I'm going to talk about a spot loan. That's the name of the company that I did in 2015. And I'm going to show you the paperwork, and I'm just going to show you like the issue with these sort of things. So the first thing is, we're going to look together at some information just regarding payday loans. And I just want to quickly sift through this, but we have it up on the screen so you can follow along with us. So how payday loans work. Payday loans are short-term cash loans based on the borrower's personal check held for future deposit or on electronic access to the borrower's bank account. That's flag number one. Do not give anyone, if you're having to give access to your bank account, it's already bad news, right? And then we scroll down just a little bit more. Right now we're raving, right, about these 7% interest rates on homes and all of these other things. But listen to this. Loans typically cost 400% annual interest or more. The finance charge ranges from $15 to $30 to borrow $100. For 2-week loans, these finance charges result in interest rates from 390 to 780%. Guys, this is just why. Like, why do we even sign up for these things? And I did it, right? But now we're exposing it. Let's talk about it and say, I will never do that again. One of the other things to know is that this isn't actually legal everywhere. So it says high cost payday lending is authorized by state laws or regulations in 32 states. 15 states and the District of Columbia protect their borrowers from high cost payday lending with reasonable small loan rate caps or other prohibitions. So that's how bad, like how bad does it have to be for it to be governed by the state, and for how many, 15 states to say, wait, no, like we're going to protect our borrowers from these sort of things, right? Why hasn't every state done that, right? But again, now the ball is in our court, and we're not going to do this, right? All right, so now we're going to put up on the screen my personal information that I am more than happy to share with you if it stops you from doing something silly, right? So, all right, I want to start at the very top so you can see the day, and it matters. Just follow me, okay? So page 2 says this agreement was executed on June 20th, 2015, right? So June 20th, I signed this thing kind of saying, yep, I'll give you what you want. Just give me this money, right? So keep that date in mind, June 20th. But then I want to go down actually to the payment schedule. And this is why we fall for these kind of things, right? Because it doesn't look, it looks like, oh, like what's the problem, right? So if you look at page 7, it says, here's the full schedule of your payment, so you know exactly what to expect. So again, signed this on June 20th. July 10th, my first payment was due. And if you look at it, it's a payment, it's 10 payments of $123.80. Most of us can do that, right? We would say, oh yeah, like that's not gonna kill me. So, you know, at this time, I don't know how old I was, but much younger. And yeah, I mean, when I saw this, why wouldn't I sign, right? I need this money. Honestly, couldn't tell you what I used it for, which tells you how insignificant it was. But yeah, $123.80 every 2 weeks, starting pretty much 2 weeks after you gave me the money. That's not bad. But here's the thing, guys. If we scroll right back up to page 3, let's talk about what this loan actually was. I borrowed, so it says amount given to you directly, $600, right? But then look right next to that. Finance charge is the amount of money it costs you to borrow $600. Oh, by the way, your finance charge is $638. So I borrowed $800 and now I owe more than double that, right? Like if I didn't have $600, how am I now gonna have $1,200? And then it even tells you the interest rate until paid in full is 390%. That's crazy. That's crazy. And so thank God, you know, I paid it. But it literally scarred me to the point where I literally never forgot about this. And I was like, and that was obviously way before even, we had gotten married or anything. So I didn't have you to like hold me accountable, but that's how bad it was. Cause it's like, okay, I didn't have $600. That's why I'm here. And now I'm paying you $1,238 starting like in 2 weeks. If this is the devil. This is the devil. So guys, I'm sharing this with you because it's not, like we always say, it's not a you thing, it's not a y'all thing, it's a we thing, right? Mm-hmm. Done that, or how's it go? Been there, done that. But please do not fall for these traps. They are not in it for you. Let's get this wisdom, get this discipline, get this self-control, and really just do this thing together. Did you want to say anything?
You covered it.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up by just saying that we're gonna start next week for our next podcast. We're gonna start a 7-episode series on budgeting, and I'm really excited about that because this is what we do day in and day out with our small business. But we're really, it's not about you coming to us, right? Like if you truly needed the help and wanted to seek our services, that's fine. But if not, like, this is why we're here, right? We're trying to build a community that you don't necessarily have to come to our website and pay us for certain services. This is about God, right? And his kingdom, and doing this the way that he has commanded us to do it. But yeah, so it's going to be 7 podcasts long, so it'll be 7 weeks since we broadcast every Friday, and it's going to be good. But we're going to talk about basically the same steps that we take when we do this with our partners. We call them partners, but our clients, to basically assess from beginning to end, like, okay, well, I don't want to get into it, but yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And the first episode, so next week, we're going to talk about how it's not supposed to be comfortable. So please tune in for that. If you're, we've gotten several messages about, the conviction that God has kind of been dealing with people on just doing this thing. And I'm here to tell you that we're here with you. You're welcome to continue, sending the messages, but we're going to do this, and we're going to do it thoroughly. Mm-hmm. We're going to share, kind of all of the tools that we use, and kind of suggestions, recommendations that we make, and even some success stories, and like how we've been truly able to help people be in a much better situation. Mm-hmm. So that's it for this episode. Episode what? 4?